Welcome to the MsSavvyPro Show with Patrice Jackson, a.k.a. MsSavvyPro, where each week we get up close and personal with successful purpose-filled people to reveal their struggles, strategies, and inspiring stories of how they are changing the world one person at a time. Our purpose is to empower you to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can to pursue your dreams and goals.
Hey, you guys, it's me, your girl, Patrice Jackson, a.k.a. MsSavvyPro, and I am here on another great Tuesday with another amazing guest. We have Miss Sheniqua Johnson on the line, you guys. Super excited to interview her. We got an opportunity to talk. Loved her energy. You're going to love what she has to say, and hearing her journey to her purpose and hearing how she, navigated those things that got her to where she is today. So, you guys, like I said, it's me, Patrice Jackson. I am the owner of Savvy Professionals, a virtual and personal assistant company. I am also the author of Purpose Matters, and it is an anthology where I got together 30 awesome individuals, and we talked about purpose and pursuing our purposes and all the things we had to overcome in order to get to where we are. So, as you know, I am all about purpose and producing your goals and getting to where you want to be. That's what I'm all about. That's what my brand is all about, and I am here to share with you how you can do it. So today we're just going to go ahead and jump into the show. Remember, we're on the best network out there, the I Am a Superwoman network, and if you have any questions, you can always go to the event page on Facebook, and you can put your questions there for either me or the guest, and you can get their links as well there on Facebook. Just search the MsSavvyPro Show with Sheniqua Johnson, and you will find all of the information there. All right, so for many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. What started out as a simple career choice transformed into a life-defining purpose and pathway for Sheniqua Johnson. Trained as a registered nurse 17 years ago, Sheniqua's career has evolved into her life passion. Dedicated to helping and caring for others, Sheniqua has broadened her horizons to find innovative ways to bring caring to the community she serves. She is the owner of A Better You, LLC, where she serves as a health coach, life coach, helping people gain better control over their mental, physical, and spiritual health. Sheniqua empowers and motivates her clients to be their best selves by helping them shine the light on their problems, learning to focus on the solutions, and creating an effective plan to never go back to the situations that they had them bound. She holds a Master's of Science in Nursing degree with a specialization in nursing healthcare education from the University of Phoenix. As a dedicated educator, she has trained over 900 health coaches. Her health coaching program gained credibility and has had several news articles given high accolades for the trends it has created in healthcare. Sheniqua has been featured on NBC News, 4 News, New York University, Doctors Radio, and She Magazine as a nurse expert and health coach. Sheniqua is the author of a book titled I Don't Know My Own Strength, How My Faith Moved My Mountains. In this book, she guides her readers as they take a personal journey of self-discovery to find their inner strength and learn how to move mountain-sized obstacles out of their lives. She is also the co-author of books titled Reach for Greatness, Women Inspiring Nations, and newly released Black Women by Birth, Champions by Choice. Her passions are teaching, serves as a health educator, provides health coach training, and helps others serve as life coach, health coach, providing individual coaching, serves as a community resource. She empowers people and serves as an empowerment specialist, motivational speaker, and author. So, you guys, yes, I cannot wait to speak to her. She seems like it's going to be a wealth of knowledge in order for us to just get over those stuck areas and just keep going and just reach the goals that we are destined to reach. So let's go ahead and welcome our guest. Hey, how are you? Hey, hello, Sheniqua. How are you?
Hey, how's everything? All is well with me.
I am doing great. Welcome to the MsSavvyPro Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So like I said before, we spoke earlier. I loved your energy. And I've seen some things that you're doing, and I am excited to talk to you about all the new things that you have coming up. But before we do that, tell us, even though we read your bio, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got to where you are today.
Well, I always like to say that I am really simple yet very, very complicated. So I am Sheniqua Johnson, and I am a registered nurse. I'm also a health coach and a life coach and CEO of A Better You LLC, where I'm working to help women to just be empowered to live their best lives. That's mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because what I found is that if you don't have a balance in all three of those areas, you're going to be a little bit off. So I feel as though I have prided my life on trying to create that balance. And kind of how I got there is really just trying to do it in my own life. So I am my test subject. I am not the best test subject, but because I fight and I give myself a hard time, but I test everything out on myself, and I believe that there are women out there who are like me who want to live their best lives. They are continually striving to be better. So that's what I do. That's where I'm driven in my life and motivated to just help women to be better. And that better is however they describe it. Like, so whatever your definition of being better than the way you are now, that's what we work on. That's the way we build the plan to help you. So I do that in my very own life, and I do it pretty much on a regular basis. I'm continually, kind of gutting myself out and redesigning myself and just trying to be better each and every day of my life. So even though I always think like, oh, I'm just a mild-mannered young lady who likes to just, chill and lay low-key, but then there also has to be that side of me who is very complex, who is very detail-oriented and very driven about life and success. So that's pretty much Sheniqua Johnson in a nutshell.
So tell me, and first let me just touch on the fact of listening to you and hearing the passion that you have, and I'm quite sure when you're speaking to me with that passion, you have to be also relaying it to the people that you work with, the clients or classes that you are teaching, which is really important because I've seen in the healthcare industry, in my opinion, that sometimes people get into the healthcare industry because they figure, oh, I'll always have a job. Right? And I think that when it comes to that industry, you have to be careful with having that mentality going in because it is an industry that is all about care. And so hearing that passion in your voice about it is very refreshing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I have to say that my patients, when I was working in the hospital as a nurse in the hospitals, the patients used to always say, it was like 7:30 in the morning, they're like, why are you so chipper? And I'd say to them, because I'm not in that bed. And they'd be like, what? And I'm like, I come in to my job chipper. I'm happy. I'm vibrant because I need to help you get better. Like, so if I didn't want to do this, I would stay home. And I was always grateful. So no matter how bad life was, no matter what rocks and mountains rose up in my way, I was always thankful that because it could always be worse. It can always be worse. I could have been a patient in a hospital, and I wasn't. So I would say, like, that's why I come in so chipper. That's why I come in so bright-eyed because, for one, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that even though in spite of the way things are, like I'm not at my lowest point, there's always that room to get better. And so with the patients, I would always just, try to put that on them. So in addition to giving you your medications and making sure you go for your procedures, it's also a part of my job to try to cheer you up, to try to motivate you, and to try to encourage you to get better. So, yeah, unfortunately, I had to be that chipper nurse at 7:30 in the morning. They said, "Where do you get all of that energy from?" I'm like, "Look, that's coffee." Like, that's coffee talking to you right now. But it is a energy that I have when I'm passionate about something. When I'm called to do a job, that's what I'm going to do. It's like I said, if I didn't want to do it, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to stay home, just that simple. So we have to have that motivation.
Look at your job and the way that you serve people. Absolutely. So tell me, when you were a little kid and you were in pigtails, were you walking around with a medical bag and a stethoscope, or did you decide that you wanted to be in the healthcare industry a little later in life?
Well, I'd have to say I am a caregiver by nature. That's something, and you can see it. You can see it in the little girls even today, like the ones that dress their babies up and wrap them up. I remember one time I went out with my mother. She went to one of her friends' house. They were having like a get together, and I had my Cabbage Patch Kid. Can I take y'all back a little bit? Y'all remember the Cabbage Patch Kids? I had my Cabbage Patch Kid, and my baby was wrapped in a blanket because it was cold out, and it had on its full clothes and its coat and its hat, and they were like, "Look at this baby!" Like she's really taking care of this baby. So I think just from being a little tiny young girl, like I've always had that caring, that kind of nurturing side to me. But yes, I am guilty. I have always wanted to be a nurse. My mother, she actually is a retired school teacher. She wanted to be a nurse. So I don't know if that was something that kind of just passed down the bloodline. But for some reason, I picked up that love of nursing. And from, when I was younger, I was just always drawn to the profession, and I even became a nursing assistant in high school. I went to vocational high school, and I was able to get my training started pretty early in my teenage years. So I've been in healthcare a really, really long time. But it's a blessing. Like, I love it, and it is about serving the people. Like, what better profession can you serve people in? Like, it's great.
Yes, that is, and it's so true. And, like you said, it took us back to the Cabbage Patch days where you took the time to take this baby. Like, you weren't, the fact that this was a baby doll never came to your mind. You're just like, this is something that I'm responsible for, and I want to make sure that I give it the best care.
Yes, that was my baby. I still got it to this day.
So you guys, like, if you see a child and you see that they have this special knack for something, then you might want to nurture it, because it could end up being their profession a little bit later on down the line.
It's so true. It is so true.
So tell me, okay, so you became a nurse, and you're with your clients and you're giving them the best care. You're just being the best you are in this profession. When did you decide, hey, I want to go out and share this with the masses? I want to teach people how to give the same care I've been given and how to just live their best life.
Well, really, honestly, the way it started out as I started working from the hospitals. I went from working as a bedside nurse, and I went to home care. And so home care, I was in the community. I would have to go out, and so wherever the client was, I would go to their homes, and pretty much I was bringing that bedside care right into their very own living room. So I would notice that I was going out to see patients all the time, and I'd start seeing the same patients, and I'm like, wait a second, like, I taught you your medications, we've come to this understanding, we've set goals, like, we've done all of this stuff, but you keep coming back. Like, you keep getting sicker, or you would get better, and then you would come back. You would get better again, and then you would come back. So it was really kind of out of frustration to say, as a nurse, I was like, wait a minute. I'm giving them medications. I'm teaching them, like, what is missing? There's something missing that I keep getting the same diabetic patients. There's something missing where I keep getting the same clientele just kind of keep coming like a revolving door. They just keep coming back. And so what I learned was that they did not have that balance. Okay, as a registered nurse, I was taking care of their physical side. So I would teach them how to give themselves insulin. I would teach them how to check their blood pressures and check their weight and teach them all about their medication. Wonderful. I was taking care of their physical side. But then what about their mental? What about their spiritual side? And as a registered nurse, there were certain areas we couldn't touch. You know, religion and politics is off the table. You really can't go talking about religion and stuff when you're in with your clients. So I just kind of felt in that role that I was serving as, I was doing almost like a disservice to people because I was only touching one area. But then I just said, you know what? I want to help people totally. Like, I want to help their mind, their body, their spirit. I want to touch all of those areas so that they can have a balance in their life. And actually the World Health Organization, that's their definition of health. It's not just the absence of diseases. It's a totality. It's, you know, wellness in your physical. It's wellness in your mental, and it's wellness in all the other aspects of your life. So that's when I decided, you know what, as a health coach, as a business owner, I can serve my people in all areas. I can touch upon their spirituality. I can help them build their inner strength from faith. And I can help them emotionally, mentally, to see what is causing the physical to be affected. So that's what birthed A Better You, where I am helping people really just understand their health and just find a total balance. Because I always say, without that balance, you're going to topple over. We're going to be like those little, the weeble wobbles. Right. You know, they just kept, you know, just going over, you know, and we don't want that type of lifestyle. We want to live a balanced lifestyle. We want to live an abundant lifestyle. We don't want to have one side, you know, low and the other one high. No, we want every area of our life to be equal. So that's why I love my role as a nurse. Don't get me wrong. I love being a registered nurse, but I so much enjoy my role as a health coach and life coach, which was birthed from my career as a registered nurse. But I'm just stepping it up a notch. I'm kicking it up a notch. I'm just adding just a little bit more to just fully help people better.
You know, and it's good. I'm glad that you decided to look at it as a holistic approach, because now people who, because like okay, so let's go to the fact that maybe they don't have an actual illness, as in like maybe diabetes or some type of terminal disease, but it could be anything from like stress or unhealthy eating or overworking or different things in your life, and they could come to you and try to put it all together and find how it all fits in their plan, in their life. Because when you think about those terminal diseases, you have like, you know, things like, you know, terminal diseases like cancer or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They look, these centers actually look at it at a holistic approach. They want to make sure you have a supportive family. They want to make sure that you have the doctor that you need. Are you know, eating right? They bring in nutritionists and all of those different things, because they don't want to just fix your body. They know that everything has to be on track to a healthy lifestyle in order to heal fast and heal right.
Mm-hmm. And if you're lacking in one area, so like you mentioned, you could be fine physically. But if you're mentally unbalanced, you're still going to have sickness. You're still going to be feeling sickness. You could be well in your body. You can believe your mental is well and everything is good, but then you're lacking spiritually. And you can still find yourself faced with this unbalance in your life. So I am just a firm believer of meeting people where they are and really just trying to help them develop a plan to live a better life. Because that's what I want. I would hope that there are people out there like myself who want to live a better life. And even when things are good in your life, isn't there room for it to be better? Mm-hmm. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth and just an abundance of everything that you may even have right now. So I'm a firm believer of just making sure we are all just living our best lives.
And it when it comes to, and especially with my audience, because I know that the people in my audience are entrepreneurs, they're caregivers, they're nurturers, they're people out there that are using the gifts and purpose that they have inside of them to change the community from where they are. That is my audience, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, even if things are good, you want to make sure that it stays good and that you are continually being on track, because when you are trying to change a community, you shouldn't have to change a community from the resources you need. You should be, or the levels that you need. You should be changing the community from your overflow. And that's in life, in money, and spirituality. All of that should come from your overflow so you don't ever get burnt out or feel any type of lack.
Absolutely, and a big thing, and I know this for a fact as an entrepreneur, that there is a high price to pay. It's not all glitz and glamour like, some people would think that it is, but it's a constant grind. So it may have you up early in the morning. It may have you going to bed late at night. So you're not getting the same amount of sleep as if you were maybe saying going to a 9 to 5 job, or maybe if you're one of those people who are doing a dual role where they're still working at a 9 to 5 and they're building their business and working things on the side. Look, you're cutting down your amount of sleeping hours, you're probably not eating correctly, and you really can get burnt out. You can go into emotional eating. So when you're going through a season where everything is good in your business, maybe you're on the go, you're traveling, so you're eating fast food a lot. You're grabbing things on the go, and you're not really sitting down and eating a healthy, nutritious meal. You're not drinking your water the way you should. You're not, going to the gym and getting your exercise. So certain things may be lacking. Or on the flip side, when maybe business is a little bit slow, you might start to get into a little emotional slump. And so now you're eating unhealthy foods, or you're, curling up in the bed and you've got your ice cream. And so we tend to go through these seasons in our lives where, we can all use a little extra added support, a little extra added motivation and encouragement, and tips to just keep us going, keep us doing the right thing. Because as you mentioned, we want to make sure our cup stays full so that we can continuously give and continually serve without feeling a lack in our own lives. So that balance is so very important, even for entrepreneurs and, hardworking 9 to 5 people and parents and just everybody. That balance is just really, really important.
Yes, and so can you tell me, or can you share with us a few different, I want to say, not tips for lack of words, but a few things that we should look for in ourselves or maybe in our loved ones that would indicate that maybe they need to step back, they need to contact you and see exactly what's going on. Because sometimes like with stress, you may not even know you're stressed. You may think you're in your regular routine, but you're stressed out and you didn't even notice it until it's too late. So what are some things you can look for?
You know how many people I've encountered that don't even realize they're stressed until you start asking some of the key questions. Some of the main things that we should look at. For one, you want to look at what your sleeping pattern is, because your body needs energy. Your body needs fuel, like a car. Like you got to put fuel in it in order for it to go. And even though, because I remember one time I asked the question, I said, how many people get a full 8 hours of sleep? And everybody in the room was like, no, 8 hours. I haven't got 8 hours since I was a baby. And I'm like, well, how many hours of sleep do you get? And someone just adamantly, they just rose their hand, and I'm like, I get 4 hours of sleep. 4 hours? So you only give your body 4 hours to rejuvenate? I mean, my goodness, don't we charge? Sometimes we charge our cell phones longer than that. So it's like we have to look at what we're putting into our body. So one, looking at your sleeping patterns. Now, you might feel that, getting 4 hours of sleep is good for you. You feel refreshed. I had someone say, oh, when I get 8 hours, I'm sluggish. Okay, well, your body system, your chemistry is now off balance. So looking at your sleeping patterns, you also should look at what's your responsibilities. Look at what's on your plate. Look at who's depending on you. How many people are depending on you? So I know as a mom, God forbid if I get sick, it's going to be mass hysteria. They might be able to survive maybe one day while they go through all the frozen meals and, all of the boxes of cereal. But after that, it's going to be pure chaos. Yeah, they're going to start getting nervous, and especially if there's no money for, fast food and takeout, it's going to start to be a problem. So we also want to look at who is relying on us, who's depending on us. And one thing as a health coach and life coach, which I always tell my clients, this is about them. It's about them. It's not about me. So I'm not your coach, and it doesn't I'm your coach. I'm not going to carry you. So I'm in it with you, like I'm motivating you, I'm helping you map out your plan, but I'm not doing the work for you. And see, that's kind of a little different than when I was in, practicing as a nurse. A lot of the stuff we did for the patients. The tray would come, we'd start cutting up the food. That's like an innate gift for us, especially those people who are caregivers by nature. So when there's a situation, when there's a problem on the table, you're always the first person to jump at it, to go for it, because you believe that everybody is depending on you to take care of this problem. So I like to tell my clients, no, I'm not doing this for you. So as a health coach, I'm not going to take your problems and now add it onto my plate. And a lot of people do that. And they're thinking, well, I just help out and I can get it done best. No, wait. And that's not to say that that's not true. But you can burn yourself out by taking on the role for everybody else. I know when I was in the hospital, I used to say that, I'm not going to own that. I don't own that. I don't own that. You cannot bring your problems to me and now say I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z because of it. No, I'm not going to own that. That is not my responsibility. That is not my issue to handle. Now, if you need some tips and you need some guidance and you need some connections to some resources, now that I can do for you, but I will not take your problems and make them into mine. So I always would just suggest, especially for us entrepreneurs, us people out here with nonprofit organizations, and you're out here building and serving the community, I need you to check to see what actually is. So make a list of all the things that are your responsibilities, all the things that are going on, and then put your name next to the stuff that absolutely belongs to you. Anything else, put who it belongs to. So, for instance, my kid with this science project the other night, I'm not in school with you. I did not know that a science project was due. You knew that the science project was due. Oh, well, Mommy, help me. Oh, no. You have to own this. Now, I'm not going to take on the burden of doing a science project last minute. I'm not going to take that on. Do I want my kid to be successful? Absolutely, but not at the expense of me doing things for him. So he had to own that. And I said, I'll guide you. And I gave him tips. I showed him how to set his board up. But he had to man through that on his very own. So a lot of times we like to serve people, but we serve people who are independent and should be doing stuff for themselves. And then we end up burnt out, and we don't even realize it. We don't have enough time for ourselves. We haven't taken our self-care into consideration, but we're so busy out there taking care of other people. So we want to make sure that we're looking at what it is that we're doing, how much fuel we're giving our body to do these responsibilities. So we've got to make sure we do a self-check. That's always very, very important. You got to do a self-check before you start running out there trying to take care of everybody else.
You know, and I'm glad, I'm so glad that you touched upon that and you shared that with us as listeners, because it takes the whole be okay with saying no, as well as the importance of delegating and putting people in the right places where they need to be to a whole nother level. It gives the explanation of why it is so important to be okay with saying no without explanation, and also making sure that you have the right people in your life, depending on the situation, doing the things that they need to do for themselves, right? Because when you have, for instance, for your son, you could have stepped in and said, let me get this done because I want you to be successful, and I don't, next time we're not going to be here. You're not going to wait till the last minute. But then in the future, are you setting a precedent, right?
That's right.
And I recently seen a situation like that where someone had been taking care of their child for so many years. Now they're grown, extra grown, and they're still taking care of this child because they don't have the tools they need in order to live the life that they need. This person is grown, has children of their own. They still don't have the tools that they need in order to live a balanced life, right?
Exactly.
And to be a productive citizen.
Exactly.
So honestly, when you're taking on someone else's problems, issues, and their responsibilities, are you truly helping them? And that, is a question too.
So I love to teach. I'm a teacher by nature. I'm a nurturer, and I'm a teacher by nature as well. And that's, you have to teach people life lessons, because that's the way they learn. If somebody is going to be running to the rescue all the time, then you're not going to learn. And I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough to do the work for you. Like, you've got to learn to do it for yourself. And that's how we build a generation of adults. That's how we build a generation of people who are able to not only take care of themselves, but they can now turn around and help somebody else in the same way. So what's done for me, like, you've got to be able to turn back. You've got to pay it forward. You've got to be able to give it to someone else.
Wow. Amazing. So, like I said, I'm glad you shared that, and I am excited to hear more from you. I'm going to take a quick break, you guys. But when we come back, Sheniqua, we're going to talk about your books, because you have a lot of great books out there. But we're also going to talk about, how they can, reach you, and how they can, get started. And you work with people outside of just New York, because you're from New York as well, too. You work with people virtually, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Perfect. So if you can give us a few tips on how to reboot their life and start to get ready to come speak with you, and then we're also going to come back and talk about her books, you guys. So I'll see you guys in just a quick moment, and thank you guys for listening to the MsSavvyPro Show. All right, you guys, be right back.
Father God, I belong to you. I give all the glory to you. Every time I see your grace, it makes me want to sing. Every time I think about your love, how it saves me. You can have beauty, fame, money, fame, but love is the greatest of all. And you can have power, prestige, talent, intrigue, but what's that when you can't make a call? I sit in solitude, I'm thankful for another chance to worship God in love and truth in spite of circumstance. I count it joy to be corrected with his mighty hands, to be directed with the heart of one who understands just what it means to be redeemed and through his only son, the sacrificial lamb for all, he needed only one. In every nation, every tongue, come on, let's spread the word, until it's not a person left that said they haven't heard about salvation given freely, cause it's not deserved. The greatest gift, the grace of God, on whom I'm proud to serve. When people say you got your nerve trying to preach Christ, ain't you the one that still be rapping about that street life? I tell them yeah, and even then they be hating on me. And And when they grin, I tell them, don't listen to Satan, homie. They even threw me in that pen trying to break me. I repented all my sin, and God will forsake me. Pray, make me wise. Open my eyes, help me recognize the truth and rebuke the lies. Until the youth advise, it's not the size of your rims, it's the way you roll. It's not the ride that you win, it's who's in control. God knows everything, He never sleeps. God sees everything, He never blinks. God is everywhere. So if you think you're getting by, double crossing, it's a lie, cause He's watching. Now you believe in God, but don't believe in the Bible. I think it's kinda odd that you don't see that it's vital. That you believe in Christ, but you don't follow His teaching. For you, He gave His life, but you ain't trying to be preaching. But you want to be blessed, but you forgetting the rest. True devotion and getting closer when denying your flesh. He say He knows your heart and what you really about. But when you gonna start to take the godlier route, it might be time to let what's in you come out. Cause all that waiting and debating is letting Satan just attack you with doubt. But you won't know unless you read the word and observe the ways of Christ. Came to show the way to serve, obey, and paid the price. Because of that, we owe it all. And now I'm claiming to know it all. Just enough to know without that spirit, I would blow it all. The best example I can show to y'all is when the clock is running out and you on fire, you can throw the ball.
My name is Therese Eagleman, and I believe purpose matters.
Yes, you guys, that was Teresa Eagleman. She is a representative for doTERRA, and where you can get all of your essential oils for all of the things you need to increase the balance of your life as well. So I wanted to read a quote for you two guys today, and it is, balance is not something you find, it is something you create. It's really important that you find that balance, you guys, as you're listening to the guest today with Sheniqua Johnson, that you find it so that you can be more productive and that you can share more of your purpose, more of your gifts with the community from your overflow. And it's important that you find coaches like our guest today and allow them to assist you on your journey and your path to greatness, through having a balanced, successful life. You guys, I thank you for listening to the MsSavvyPro Show. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Jesus, you died for me, sacrificed your life for me, and I am changed, no longer the same. In the morn your healing comes, God, you sacrificed your son just for me, just for me. Just for me, just for me. You died and rose again just for me, just for me, just for me. You died and rose again just for me. To the cross they nailed your hands. Only you knew the plans just for me, just for me. Still you died and yet no sin. On the third day rose again just for me, just for me, just for me. Died and rose again just for me, just for me, just for me. You died and rose again just for me. How could I repay the pain you suffered long? Born to die and yet you knew it all along. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Walked alone a path of unrighteousness so all could see. But you did just for me. How could I repay the pain you suffered long? Born to die and yet you knew it all along. Walked alone a path of unrighteousness so all could see. Preparing yourself to die for me, just for me.
Yes, that was our previous guest, Miss Shay Samuels. Her song, Just For Me. She has a beautiful voice. You guys will make sure we have the songs that we played. The previous song before that was King of Kings. We'll make sure we have the links to those songs in the event page along with all the other information for the show as well as our guests. I thank you guys for tuning in again. And we have our guest, Sheniqua Johnson. Thank you for coming back.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
So before we were talking, you were telling us all about the importance of balance, how you got there. You were your own test subject, and how you got to where you are as an RN and how you use that in order to help other people in their lives. And I was asking you, can you give us a few tips that we can use to kind of reboot our lives?
Absolutely. I am a big list builder. I make lists all the time. I'm sure, your listeners, busy entrepreneurs, you've got a planner. I am a big believer of writing stuff out. And I'm old school. I need a pen and a paper. I don't want to put nothing in a computer. I don't like to type it in my phone. I like to write it out manually. So what I do is I create a list. I create a list of all the things that I need to get done for the week, and then I shave it down just a little bit smaller, and I break it down into what I need to do for the day. So tomorrow, Saturday, on my list is what I need to do for Saturday. But now I'll write everything down, but then I assign it a number value. And I kind of put it in like a priority sequence. So what desperately, direly needs to be done? Like if it doesn't get done, the whole world is going to stop spinning. Like that gets the number one. But then the rest of the stuff is just kind of numbered to say, okay, if I get to it, I can. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. So all of my top priority, usually which is maybe, 3 or 4 items, is really like my top priority list. And I give myself a break. If I don't get to everything on the list, it's okay. Because oftentimes we're the ones who put all of the extra added pressure onto ourselves. And then that causes us to have those emotional burnouts really quickly. So I love me. I give myself permission to, if I don't get everything done, it's okay. There's no punishment. I'm not going to be in a timeout because of it. So I always I work my day according to my list. And it does excite me when I can check things over. Oh, I got that done. And that motivates me to see what I'm doing. And then I can even, sometimes I can get through the whole list, because accomplishing a goal helps to motivate and move me to do even more. So 1, I would suggest making a list. 2, on your schedule or your planner, whatever you use, I say schedule me time. Me time is just like, so this week alone, I've got all my interviews, all my podcast shows that I'm recording, and everything that I'm doing. I'm putting all of those things on my list. But also on my scheduler was my me time. So this week I did my facial. So I spent it was about 90 minutes of a facial, because that was my time. Took the kids to school, did some business work, but then I needed me time. So I would always recommend to people to make sure you schedule in your me time. In addition to scheduling in your me time, schedule some time in for the people that you love as well. Time with your kids, time with your boo, time with your parents, whoever it is that you proclaim to love. I always say schedule them in as well, because sometimes in the chaotic world, we get so busy, and we tell the kids we see them, and we think because we're there with them, that we're there, but we know we're really not, because we're in our phones, or we're on the computers, or we're doing something business related. So I always say make time for the people who you proclaim to love. And that helps you to get that balance in your life. And on top of all of that, eat well. Eat well, drink water, get some sleep, and you'll do okay until you really get to the point where you've just got too much on your plate and you're going to really need some help. So maybe you need to sit down and strategize, to have a strategy call to say, okay, I feel like I'm running on E here. What can I do? And start, seeking some resources, seeking some help. We mentioned delegation. So there's a whole lot of things that we can do to help people really just start functioning at their best, and not just on E or on an average. No, we want to function at our best.
Yes, I love those tips. You guys, if you want to have live at a peak resistance, or live at your best health, follow these tips, you guys. And if by chance you don't get the tips, she has books, which I'm quite sure she touches upon some of these things. So can you please tell us about a few of your books? I know your actual book that you wrote is I Didn't Know My Own Strengths, right? Yes. That's yours. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that one.
That is an amazing book that I birthed through one of the most challenging times in my life. So I can never use the excuse of going through trials and tribulations and not getting work done. Like, that is not an excuse in my world, because through one of the most tumultuous times in my life, when my marriage, my 7-year marriage, was on kaput. It was dissolving right before my very eyes, and I was going through court battles, and I was struggling to maintain my household income.
Hello? Hello?
So going through all of those things in my life, the Lord allowed me to birth this book. And the title, again, of it is I Didn't Know My Own Strength, How My Faith Moved My Mountains. Because at one of the times in my life where I felt like I was at rock bottom, I had to find my inner strength to get through these problems, to keep going and to keep pushing past every obstacle that was rising in my way. So that book, that time, that season in my life was a teachable moment for me, and it just showed me how strong I really am. And I like my readers that read it, they take away that same sense where they begin to discover how strong they really are, because the book actually has some journaling pages, moments of reflections, where I'm telling you my story, but then I give you the tools that I use. So now it's time for the reader to put in their own work so that they can see their unique results that they get. And each person who reads the book, a different chapter resonates with them, and it really has been having major effects and helping people to discover their inner strength.
Wow. And I know how important it is to have a balanced life when you go through like this life-changing, tragic or traumatic part in your life, because I had to go through something very traumatic, and it shut me down, right? So I wasn't able to work. I wasn't able to really get anything accomplished like I'm used to when it happened. But I realized that if I was at a better place in my life before it happened, I would have been better equipped in that situation. Mm-hmm. And I think that, now from learning from that situation, having a balanced life, I think would have truly, having a more balanced life at that time would have truly helped.
Absolutely. And life is a learning lesson. So we have to learn through it. We go. So we have to learn how to learn the lesson. We take the nuggets and we have to keep going. We have to continue because life is always going to throw us these curveballs. So we've got to be prepared for it. So I always believe every encounter, every problem, I call them mountains. So every mountain that rises in your way, there's a strategic plan to help you get through it. And when you get through it, you're going to learn a lesson, and then you're also going to see how strong you really were.
Yes. Well, I thank you for sharing that portion of your, about your book and a portion of your journey with us. We'll make sure that we put the link to your book in the event page, you guys, so when you read it and you want to hear more about the journey and how she overcame, you guys just click the link.
Yes, awesome.
Now, you actually co-authored 2 other books. Can you tell us about those?
Yes. Well, I've actually got 3 projects. One was Reach Your Greatness with ABC Secret millionaire James Malinchak. So all these top thought leaders are in the book. Vicki Irvin's in the book. Ari Squires is in the book. Like, there's some heavy hitters that are in this book. And we're basically giving success tips for entrepreneurs and how to be successful in life, how to be successful in business. So that's a great book. I'm in another book project with Cheryl Woods, the Cheryl Woods, called Women Inspiring Nations. Our foreword was written by Mickey Taylor. Yes, Miss Essence Magazine herself. She wrote the foreword for this amazing book. And in this book, we've got 25 powerhouses who are telling their stories, kind of a when we were down, this was going on, and how we rose above it. And this book is taking the world by storm. We are motivating the masses. We are getting people just on fire with this project. And then my latest book project is with the Black CEO movement, and that one is titled Black Woman by Birth, Champion by Choice. And I think that title says it all. We are champions. But the trick is you have to choose to be a champion. And my title of my chapter in the book is I'm Here and I'm Not Going Anywhere. I'm not going nowhere. So it's a declaration to say I am standing in my position, and no divorce, no depression, no migraines, no nothing that even thinks about coming my way is going to be able to move me, because I choose to be a champion. So that is the amazing, amazing book projects that I'm a part of, and there's so many more coming. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good year. I'll just say that. It's going to be a good year.
Well, that is amazing. I love each title of the books. I am excited to read them, especially that one, the last one, Black Woman by Birth, Champion by Choice. That is, that does sound, that is enough. It does set, it does set your entry for the book. So tell us where we'll make sure we have your information in the event page, but tell us also where we can find you and what's next for you coming up.
Well, coming up, I'm going to be a part, and I'm glad you said your listeners are entrepreneurs, because I'm actually going to be in a conference. I'm going to be speaking at the Women on the Rise 5th Annual Conference, and this conference is for women entrepreneurs, it's for coaches, it's for authors, it's for anybody who's aspiring to be any of those things. It's for professional women, and it's for product makers. And this Women on the Rise conference is going to be phenomenal. It's in October, on October 19th and 20th, and it is going to be here in New York City, and it's called Together We Rise. So this conference is bringing in some heavy hitters. We've got our host. Our host is Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant. I'm sure you all have heard of her. She's going to bring forth the power. We've got our keynote speaker, Bershan Shaw, is going to be in the house. And I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Your listeners, you guys got to come to New York in October. You have to, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're a product maker, because we're going to have an HSN representative in there, and they are going to be listening to your pitch. They're going to want to hear about your product. So if you are an entrepreneur and you've got a product, you want to be in this Together We Rise conference. You don't want to miss it, because it is going to be phenomenal. And I'm going to be there speaking, giving some wellness tips, keeping everybody in their getting that mental balance going on. We've got people who are going to come and talk about how to build your business. If people are aspiring to be an author, they want to get into some of these book collaborative projects, and they just don't know how to get started, we've got someone who's going to be there to answer and to give tips on how to build your book, how to get started. So I'm telling you, all women entrepreneurs, coaches, authors, professional career women, product makers, anybody who's aspiring to do any of those things, you've got to be in New York City October 19th and 20th. Is a 2-day conference. So you just know how much information is going to be poured those 2 days. So I'll share the link when we put it up in the event page as well, so that you guys can get your tickets before they run out. And I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. So you all have time to get your products together, because you know it's good. You've just been waiting for an opportunity, and I am telling you, your opportunity has come. So you will be ready for October 19th and 20th. Get to New York City to the Women on the Rise, Together We Rise conference. It's going to be phenomenal. I am so excited about it, because it's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and I can't either. I mean, because it's not the first one. It's actually the 5th one.
The 5th one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 5th one. And from my understanding, it has gotten bigger and better each each year.
Yes.
The organizers are putting so much work into this this conference. I am super excited to go to the conference myself and just meet the people that are going to be, there alone will be enough to go. The networking that you're going to experience at this conference is going to be amazing. Women from all over the country, the world, coming together and just empowering each other and learning from each other and learning about each other is going to be awesome.
I always have a good time when I go to conferences, and this conference is going to be fire. 2 days of networking, and then I get to meet you. Yay!
Right. And as you guys know, some people know, this will be my first time ever going to New York. I'm actually going and actually experiencing New York. So I'm super excited that I get to do that and take some of the stress away from it by hanging with some awesome ladies. That is going to be amazing.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys want to come to New York City, it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait for it. I can't wait.
So we're going to make sure we get the link to the conference in the event page, you guys, so you can get your tickets early, because I know for a fact it's going to sell out quickly because she has a lot of people out there making sure that everybody knows how important this conference is going to be. But where can we find your information too, Sheniqua, so we can check you out before we see you in New York?
That's right. My website is SheniquaJohnsonRN.com, and I am all up and down social media, so you guys can get at me on Facebook, Sheniqua Johnson RN. I love Instagram. That's where my passion's at. I'm an Instagram head now. Instagram is Sheniqua Johnson RN. Twitter didn't love me. They wouldn't let me have Sheniqua Johnson RN, but I did get RN_S Johnson on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. So I am all over social media spreading motivation and encouragement to help people find that balance, because it is so extremely important. We've got work to do. We've got work to do in this world. There are people who are waiting. They're waiting for our businesses to thrive and to birth. They're waiting for our book. They're waiting for us to tell our story. They're waiting for us. So there is so much important work to be done. We've got to make sure that we do a self-check and we get our minds and our bodies and our spirits right so that we can serve from the overflow.
Yes, you guys, you heard it here. So make sure you guys, you check out those links, you check her out, follow her. She's right, she is on Instagram, and she does have some great things on there, so make sure you follow her there. And also, what I always ask my guests to do, Sheniqua, is if you can, share something. It could be a word, a quote, a scripture, whatever, that you use to encourage yourself every day. If you could share that with us.
I can do all things. I can do all things. Because you know that spirit of self-doubt and that negative self-talk?
Yes.
I can do all things. I shut it down with those words. I can do all things. I can do all things. I can do all things.
Well, you guys heard it here. You know, that is a awesome quote, and like you said, it shuts down all that self-doubt. You keep going and just do it. And I thank you, Sheniqua, for coming on the show and sharing your journey, your wisdom with us about having a balanced life and the importance of that and how we can reach it. I thank you for coming on the MsSavvyPro Show and sharing that.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. I am excited to just connect with your listeners. It's going to just be an amazing ride. We're all in this together, so I'm excited about meeting new people and making connections and meeting you all in New York City in October. I get to see you live and in person.
Yes. I cannot wait, you guys, and we'll make sure that we have the links in the event page, and we're also going to hopefully have some more people who are going to be part of the conference on the show and some more information as well. So, you guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to yet another wonderful Tuesday with yet another inspiring, empowering, amazing guest. listening in. You know you guys are my heart. I do appreciate every time you give me the opportunity to share this hour with you. It is truly a blessing to have the support that I have with this show and that I've had for so long. I do appreciate it. You guys, I will see you on another Tuesday, and you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. Bye, you guys.
Welcome to the MsSavvyPro Show with Patrice Jackson, a.k.a. MsSavvyPro, where each week we get up close and personal with successful purpose-filled people to reveal their struggles, strategies, and inspiring stories of how they are changing the world one person at a time. Our purpose is to empower you to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can to pursue your dreams and goals.